for me. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so you got your level ups done finally, right?
Yep.
I will annihilate you!
Guess you didn't want a piece of me.
I will annihilate you!
You're lucky you're still breathing.
In the next one. Those first ones just aren't listed for some reason. Cyclops has run upstairs to go attack him.
Yeah.
Guess you didn't want a piece of me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I broke all the columns. Now they're all going to collapse at the moment. Wait, there's one more.
The game's over, X-Men! Combo!
Yeah, you never said nice when I did it like 50 times by Bob.
Keep close.
I can't remember. How do you trigger combos?
Will do.
When you left trigger, it triggers the AI to attack your target with a mutant power.
You are destined to lose, X-Men!
Team member.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
And if you get the timing right doing that while using the mutant power to attack, then you trigger a combo.
So you basically do right trigger, a button, and left trigger, all with the right timing to land a combo.
Uh-huh.
Got it.
If I remember correctly, it's somewhat instinctive once you get the hang of it, but some combos are still a whole lot harder to land than others.
Yes.
Because some of them require the other character to like have a second lead time.
Yeah.
Look at those barrels.
I'm trying to move it, Allison. You'll
This isn't over! Oh yeah!
Yes. Okay.
That was one thing flipping through those guides was mentioned repeatedly was it seems as if you're more likely to get out of actual things that should, like, you know, barrels and stuff, as opposed to getting something. Well, no, it seems like you get a lot of bits out of the couches and stuff like that.
Well, again, it makes sense.
Yeah, Scott has a level
Yeah, I
up.
know. That's what I was moving on to. Okay.
Now, he's almost caught up to Wolverine now.
Yep. Okay.
What would we have to do if we played KOTOR together, Shannon? We would have to agree on a character and how we were going to run it.
Yeah. We would also have to decide which one of us would play.
Well, we could take turns playing. I'm just saying, we could. And I don't have a problem with you being the primary player.
The game's over, X-Men!
I just have a lot of commentary on it that I could give.
This is impossible!
Now, I don't have any problem at all playing
Will
a
do.
light side character.
Yeah.
I don't like playing Dark Side in the original KOTOR because they did it so repeatedly. What bass?
But you get so much better stuff.
We would probably play it on Xbox side, just because it's a lot easier to play.
It doesn't glitch out the years.
Yeah, the PC version of KOTOR is just really buggy.
And that's why I don't even have it installed. It's been so
Yeah.
long since I've toured,
I know, but if you and I play it together, then maybe we can actually make it through. Because it was actually built for it. The PC version of KOTOR was an epic. Are we in a new area?
Yes, I'll
Okay, let me look this up. North rooftops, we're looking for a danger room disc. And if I remember correctly, it's like right before you reach the X-Jet. Yeah, it's lying out in the open on a stair landing. If you make it to where you can see the X-Jet and you haven't picked it up yet, then we've missed it.
That's an invisible wall.
The game's over, X-Men!
What did I think of?
Maybe you ought to stay down.
Playing a female Revan?
He always.
I always play a female Revan. I honestly believe that one of the biggest war mistakes they made with Knights of the Old Republic is they made
Yes.
canon
Yeah.
canonically.
Revan was
is
canonically
male
a
and
man.
the Exile is female.
Honestly, in my mind, they're both female, but that's just me.
No, I like playing the Exile as a male. It's one of the few games where I actually prefer playing a male because the storyline works better if the Exile is a male. It just
Yeah.
does.
And you get Handmaiden. That
I'm on
way.
it.
Yeah, Handmaiden is a much more
Okay.
compelling character than
Disciple is really
is
plain.
lame. Completely lame.
You are destined
They
to
put
lose,
zero thought into
X-Men!
his character.
Yeah.
He's 2D.
That's why, you know, in my world, the lore of Star Wars is what exists in my mind. I don't care.
Maybe you
Oh,
ought to
so you
stay
feel much
down.
the same way I do about that, and Mass Effect, and Dragon Age, and every other RPG I've ever played.
All right. I'm on it. Get over here.
Yep, there's yeah.
Yes.
all the things?
Yes.
That's right. X-Men.
Tech bits.
Oh, maybe they were called that.
They're called tech bits. One thing I always hated about the X-Men Legends games is that characters are unlockable by completing the Danger Room sessions. And I'm horrible at the Danger Room sessions.
The game's over, X-Men! Need a hand.
That loves you.
Yeah, he's
Will do.
covering up my
I'm on
mic,
it.
too.
Yeah.
I just love you so much.
Cover up my mic.
Sometimes. Now let's see. You can start out the game
I will annihilate you!
as
Scout, scoundrel, soldier.
scoundrel.
Will do.
Scout, scoundrel, or soldier.
And then later you go into the 3 main Jedi
All right.
classes.
And you can cross. The 3 Jedi classes are roughly analogous,
Yeah, but you can crystal.
but you can crystal.
Yeah.
Start out as a soldier, and then do
I'm on it.
Sentinel or Consular.
Got it.
yeah.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Let's see, the 3 classes are Sentinel, Consular, and...
Will do.
I forget the other one.
Defender,
No, that doesn't
Guardian?
sound right. Jedi Guardian, that sounds about
Jedi
right.
Guardian.
Guardian is the soldier thing.
Yeah.
Guardian is more.
Guardian relies on melee combat. Consular is more force powers. And Sentinel is a nice mix of the two. Much like
And
Scout is a nice
Scout
mix.
is a mix. Smuggler relies on.
Why is all this
skill,
happening to me?
dexterity.
Allison, it's
Meanwhile, back in
okay.
Marvel
Things were
land,
fine until last
Yeah.
week.
Fine.
I got mad at
I'm
my
on
little
the
brother and
X-Jet.
suddenly the ground started to shake. I knew it was my fault, but I didn't
But
want
I
to admit
didn't
it.
want to
Your
admit
powers
it.
are becoming active, which...
Things have only gotten worse. That lava in the street? I made it happen.
We're
I'm
aware.
becoming a mutant.
There's nothing
No.
wrong
You were always a
with...
mutant.
And that
You were
woman,
always a mutant.
she was gonna make me join something
It's
called
in
the
your
Brotherhood.
DNA.
She could come after me again. Anytime!
Allison, you couldn't be in safer hands. We're the X-Men.
That sounds so dramatic.
I know it's kind of funny at this point seeing that they really did build this first game at a very basic level. You know, X-Men. What's this game about X-Men? You know? Of course, keep in mind, this
Professor
was
Xavier,
the early 2000s.
I'd like you to meet Allison Crest.
Hello, Allison. Welcome to
was
the Institute.
Only about
How are
5
you?
years after the best
A little
freaking
confused,
cartoon
but I'm
adaptation
okay.
of the X-Men ever
That's
into
understandable.
Anything.
Perhaps Jean
What
could
was
take
that?
you on a tour of the mansion. Or would you prefer that I
original
show you the
X-Men
true
cartoon.
purpose
The
of the
X-Men.
Institute in the sub-basement?
Okay, so here's Professor X.
The thing is, the original X-Men cartoon
Why was I brought here?
You were brought here for your own protection.
was
The people who
still-
attacked you in New York City were members of the
I know a lot of
Brotherhood of
people my
Mutants.
age are
So
gonna
they
kill
could come
for
after
this,
me?
but it was-
Perhaps.
Actually, the X-Men cartoon came along
Are you the leader
when I
of the
was like a
X-Men?
young
I
teenager,
prefer to
so
think of
I was
myself
just a
as-
But
little
you brought-
bit
Yes,
Who's the
older.
Brotherhood?
the Brotherhood.
know,
It's,
But what do they want?
they've
So
labeled...
it wasn't that big a deal to me. I thought it was kind of silly. myself.
I'd like Jean to show me around.
It would be my pleasure.
But
Once
I
you're
know
done with
people
Jean's
just a
tour,
few
come...
years
Lead the way,
younger than me,
Allison.
It was really important.
You think? Although, I will say this.
What?
That cartoon assumed a level of knowledge of the comics that
It did.
I think most kids who were watching it lacked.
Well, and that's... I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Bass! Go see Shan.
Come here, pup.
Oh. Okay.
Hello.
I don't...
Back, bass,
Oh, do you want to
my mic.
talk about what's going on in the game right now, right quick?
You think?
Yeah. because, you know, this is like a fundamental mechanic in the game.
Yes,
navigating
the mansion is like really important. It actually clues you in on most of the narrative of the game, and this is a narrative game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beat 'em up, but it has a legitimate narrative. They didn't just
And a lot of story to it that, as I was talking about earlier, it's one of the reasons I'm not as big a fan of the X-Men Legends 2, because that was much more of a very stock, recycled storyline. Whereas with 1, they actually dug into a little bit of lesser-known material.
Well, and they actually created a little bit of material.
Yeah. My mic is picking up too loud. I'm going to move it a bit.
Okay, so on the computer you can look at the bios of the different X-Men that you've met so far. Wolverine, name Logan. As we know today, that is one of several names.
Pat, Gary, Chuck.
Stop it.
Might as well be. He was Logan for, 30 years, and now he's got like 3 or 4 Who's He Really's now.
Logan is a man of mystery, even to himself. A victim of vicious experiments at the Weapon X laboratories, Wolverine's memories have been severely damaged. Who he is and where he came from may be lost to him forever, and they'll rewrite a new one every 2 or 3 years anyway.
Yeah, at
Pretty
this
much.
point.
But one thing is certain, he's the best at what he does. And what he does is beating the crap out of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Born in Canada, Wolverine worked for Department H, a group of superheroes based in Ottawa, Canada. Wolverine eventually left his homeland to work for Charles Xavier and the X-Men, but he misses maple syrup. Possessing a mutant ability to quickly heal physical damage, Wolverine also has claws he can extend and retract from the back of his hands. I feel it only fair to point out that he wasn't born with the claws.
Now, he was born with the ability to rapidly heal to the point that it's almost impossible to damage him extensively or kill him, but the Weapon X program added the claws.
Yeah, specifically because he could heal enough to survive the torturous process of adding adamantium to his skeleton.
And, the ability to have adamantium claws that he could shove through his skin and tissue,
Yeah.
In other words, being him hurts.
Yeah.
He is the perfect weapon, just like they wanted.
Perhaps because of his mutant healing factor, the Weapon X labs fused adamantium to his bones, making his skeleton virtually indestructible. Perhaps? Really, perhaps is the word we're going to use there? His acute sense of smell allows him to follow the trail of an enemy, which is one of the stupider things that they've ever done with him.
Well,
Yeah, why does he...
You gotta go back to the earliest incarnations
I know.
of Wolverine for...
Why?
Okay, Cyclops.
You gotta press A.
Yeah, I did. Okay, there we go. Real name, Scott Summers. Duty would be the word that best sums up Scott Summers. Well, duty or duty. It is his sense of duty that led him to become the first member of Professor Xavier's team of X-Men. It is also his sense of duty that continues to drive him to bear the awesome burden of team leader.
Or perhaps the giant stick up his ass.
You think? Cyclops' eyes are able to generate a blast of energy which is strong enough to melt steel. The energy comes from solar energy his body absorbs. Unfortunately, he was hurt as a youngster when he and his brother Alex were forced to jump from a burning plane. Because of that injury, Scott cannot control his optic blasts. Were it not for the special glasses with ruby quartz lenses Professor Xavier developed, Cyclops would not be able to open his eyes without emitting a beam of energy.
Okay, so you know how BioWare makes a bunch of Mary Sue protagonists? So does Marvel. Like, even more so.
Oh, yeah, they did it intentionally.
Okay.
Like, especially Jean.
By the way, before we move on to Jean, let me just mention that while Scott Summers is basically a paladin with a giant stick up his bum,
I thought all paladins were like that.
his parents are frickin' amazing.
I've never actually read any comics about them, so I
They
know
are
a bit.
space pirate superheroes.
How did
Intergalactic space pirate superheroes.
how did that happen?
Magic. It's so convoluted. I'm not going to even attempt to explain it, but the magic of comic books has given him these terrifically awesome and bizarre parents.
Wonderful.
Okay, Jean Grey. Being mildly telepathic as a child, Jean Grey first met Professor Xavier in hopes he could correct problems she experienced in dealing with her mutant talents. Later on in her teenage years, she joined Xavier's group and became the 5th X-Man.
After initially being the secretary.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
She was initially given the codename Marvel Girl, but that title is rarely used anymore. Wolverine will occasionally refer to her as Red because of her bright red hair.
And this is important. Why?
Well, mostly because they're not really going to address it here, not strongly, but Jean has been in a,
Strange convoluted
year
love triangle between Scott and Logan?
Yes. Although, it might be a misnomer to call it a love triangle, because when you factor in her clones and spirit doubles and offspring, it's like a love dodecahedron.
Yeah.
It's a giant mess is what it is.
Jean Grey is a very gifted mutant possessing both telepathic and telekinetic abilities. She's one of the few mutants strong enough to operate Cerebro, the mutant detection system designed by Professor Xavier. Her powers continue to grow, and she fears not being able to control them, for in times of extreme duress they can overwhelm her. And when that happens, she becomes a malevolent entity known as the Phoenix. It has only happened a handful of times.
But it's the apocalypse every time.
And the X-Men have always corrected the situation.
That's a strong word.
But the fear of it is never far from Jean's mind.
The biggest Mary Sue of them all.
Yeah.
She's both the best and the worst. She's beloved by all.
Okay, so let's explore the mansion real
That's
quick.
what the computer's good for.
Yes.
The library is good for
Welcome
looking
to
at
the
comic
Xavier
books.
Institute, Allison.
Okay, this place
This
is
place
huge.
is
What is it?
huge. What is it?
This is the Xavier Institute, a school where mutants learn to control their abilities, as well as discovering more about themselves and their place in the world. The fact that the students are mutants is kept secret for everyone's protection. In addition to being a school, the mansion is also home to the X-Men.
The mansion is also home to the X-Men.
I've heard of the
Cool,
X-Men.
I've heard of the X-Men. What room is this?
What room is this?
The library is one of the most
Library is
popular
one of the
rooms in the
most popular
house.
rooms in
There's
the
a
house.
wide
There's a
variety
wide
of literature
variety of
here,
literature
from
here,
Shakespeare
from
to
Shakespeare
comic
to
books.
comic books.
It's an interesting mishmash of
Interesting
styles,
mishmash of
kind of like the X-Men.
Okay, I'm not... Yeah,
Who are
why
you?
not?
My name
Who
is
are
Jean
you?
Grey,
My name is
and
Jean
I've been
Grey,
an
and I've been
X-Man
an
most of my
X-Man
life.
most of my life.
Today,
You gotta
in New
get
York
into
City,
character.
were you
Today
talking to
in
people
New
with
York
your
City,
thoughts?
were you talking to
Yes.
people with telekinesis?
My mutant abilities deal with telepathy and telekinesis.
Telepathy.
Oh.
You're a
You're a mutant?
Yes, I am. You'd be hard put to find someone around here who isn't.
I didn't think there were many people like me.
Our numbers are growing, and it's nothing to be
Numbers are
ashamed of,
growing, and
Allison.
it's nothing to be
Even though
ashamed
there
of,
are a few
Allison.
people who would like you to
Even though
be.
there are a few people who would like you to be. Or telepathic?
You're telepathic?
I have the ability to read minds and communicate mentally.
And telekinesis means you can list stuff with your thoughts, right?
Exactly. I've grown quite powerful at it over the years, but I doubt I'll ever master it.
Yeah, we don't want to think what could happen if she mastered it, because as it is, she can pick up cars and throw them at people without touching them. Okay,
Thanks for the info.
Thanks for the info. Okay, so
Go
here
look
we
at the
are in
comic
the library.
books. Go a bit righter.
And let's review our comics, because we have 2 already. We have the Wolverine comic.
Very nice.
And the Magma comic.
There have been so many different designs of her through the years, haven't there?
There have been, yes. Oh, whoops. Okay. Let's open the door and go here.
Classes are held here, Monday through Friday. The students receive a full curriculum in math, history, physics, and a wide variety of other topics.
So here's the classroom.
There is nothing important in here. It just
Now we're
exists for
back
the
in
sake of
library.
existing.
Yep.
And I mean, I get it. World building and all. Yeah. I know.
This is the sitting room. It's a great place to kick back and
is the
relax.
sitting room.
Needless to
We
say,
sit
this
in
room
it.
doesn't get a lot of use by the X-Men.
There's nothing important here right now. Can't go outside.
This is the first floor elevator. From here you can go to the second floor, or the sub-base.
I'll skip it for now. In an old house like this, I bet it's just full of cobwebs.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the sub-basement is the danger room, which we will get to in due time.
Yeah, there's nothing there,
Can't
ever.
go in there.
Can't
We're
go
not
out there.
going to the front lawn right now.
You actually can't go out there. I've tried. Charlie, what the heck? What are you doing,
is the dining
Believe it or
room.
not,
We
we
eat food
do
here.
take the time to sit down every once in a while and have a meal
I can't picture any of the
You haven't lived till you've tasted Pete's barbecue or Betsy's Cornish hen.
I'm going to put off explaining who Pete and Betsy are.
This is the day room.
You'll find out
It's
in due
beautiful, isn't it?
time.
There are times I find it hard to believe there's a high-tech underground level beneath this grand old mansion.
An underground level?
Oh, yes. But I'll leave that...
It's a TV!
Magic. No.
Yeah,
no.
we're not watching the cutscenes right now.
You're trapped.
I know. Okay, did I miss anything downstairs?
Nope. Next you go upstairs and
Yep.
check in every one of their rooms like a creepy stalker person.
Right?
No. Don't want to talk to you.
The second floor of the mansion has bedrooms for many of the X-Men. Feel free to wander around.
Go right first.
This is the second floor elevator. From here you can go to...
That's very useful. Shut up. Okay, when standing near objects that can be used, the X button prompt will appear. There are also green arrow markers indicating points of interest. Wow, if I hadn't figured that out already, I would be screwed.
Pretty much.
Okay.
This room belongs to Scott Summers. You met him in New York, the guy with the optic blasts? He was the very first X-Man, and he's the team leader.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
And he's kinda
Oh, I didn't mean...
I'm just teasing, Allison. Scott and I have been...
Yeah, in some worlds. Apparently not in others.
Okay, so this is Scott's room. Notice how it's all neat and tidy and...
Actually, not so much. Also, you can interact with things in their room if you poke around a bit.
Examine Cyclops' picture of Jean. A wooden framed picture of Jean sitting near the helm of a small sailing boat, wearing a heavy sweater sits here. There is wind in her hair and the look on her face is joyful. Signed across the top is the message to Scott, all my love.
Yay.
So.
And also more stuff becomes
Later.
evident, later on.
As the plot progresses, which was actually an interesting mechanic.
I know, right? I loved it.
Not there.
That door.
I have a strong desire right now to kill Jean Grey.
This
That's
is my
fair.
bedroom. I've lived here off and on since I was a teenager.
Okay, Jean's room. Notice how it's all pink and girlific.
Yep. Rose pictures.
A stylized image of two hands holding a rose is propped up here. A sentiment is written across the top of the image. Our love will bloom forever, Scott.
How sweet. I'm sorry we're like this.
I'm sorry they're like this.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of both.